open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me feel alive. Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me feel
Hello everyone and welcome back to some lovely WARNO League action on this beautiful Saturday, and we have a lot coming your way as I am once more joined here by the lovely Chlorite.
Hello everybody.
And we gonna cover first this quarterfinals, which has been played last week before the patch, but then we're gonna have some live semi-final action coming your way, guys. So a lot of WARNO content tonight, coming all your way. And we're gonna start with a banger of a quarterfinal here. Woeisme on the left side with Tiberius, Rancor on the right side. And not just the players who are prestigious in the scene by now are cool to see. It's also the matchup here. The OG German versus German trash fight. TKS versus KDA. And yeah, what do you think about this kind of matchup here?
So looking at the deployments of these two divisions, we can see Woe immediately take way more aggressive of a stance, considering both of these are reserve formations. The back in the day, KDA could count on having special forces openers and playing really aggro, because back in the day, KDA used to have Spetsnaz. And right now, TKS, which already has some of the best recon attack units in the game, including the AMX-10 RCs, as well as the 55-point Gazelle cannons, the recon forward deploying cannon helicopters with only 4 health but 55 HP. That can be a really powerful unit if microed properly. But the Fallschirmjäger B1s have been buffed significantly, making them into a absolute powerhouse of both infantry and AT damage. And right now we are seeing that Tiberius's defenses take a more conservative form, and the main damage dealing outfit is going to be, at least in the opener, these 12 T-34 85M World War II refurbished tanks. And the tactic that WoW does with TKS, I dubbed it zero body fat or 1% body fat attacks, with absolutely no space to lose any of these opener units, because TKS's mid game is, even on a map like this, it's quite weak. They really have to, the recon attack has to work unless the enemy gets to punish you really badly if it doesn't.
Yeah, bands on the map, by the way, were 5th Blindé, 2nd Panzer Grenadier, 11th Para, and 82nd. The interesting bands for the map, all obviously infantry focused. Not as much forward deploy ban as expected, though 2 power divisions there still. But the 5th Blindé ban, based on the obviously really strong autocannon on the MX-30 that can annihilate you on this map as well. So yeah, interesting bands there. But the picks here wouldn't really care about the bans, I guess, because none of these two divisions would really be ban worthy on any map currently. And even on a map where you have infantry doing decently like this one, I don't think that's really the case. But yeah, the Tiberius Rancor opener here, really interesting. We have a couple of OSAs and ZSUs, and then we have all these T-34s, and then a lot of light MGs and ATGMs. So a lot of cheap units that aren't really fantastic, but if you maybe throw enough at the enemy, they might stick.
Yeah, the ban of 5th Blindé and 2nd Panzergrenadier is, in my opinion, pretty logical, because both of those divisions can bring out a lot of strong HE damage in the mid game. Both the AMX-30s as well as the Leopard 1s, Marders, all of these are really good if you want to play mech on this map. Investing into heavier Abrams tanks on this map is not really as value as the lighter stuff. And I believe both of these players will likely, after the opener, try to build up their own versions of this mid-game HE damage, but neither of them really has any good units to do that. I mean, PT-76s on the KDA side, as well as T-62s. And TKS can rely on a lot of older generation M48 pattern tanks. But even when those tanks can bring out damage, they're going to be slow, and they're going to be a bit too expensive and not really that practical to use in these close quarters.
Yeah, the Fallschirmjäger B1 on the other side, they're gonna be good in these close quarters. They have submachine guns that will deal a lot of damage. They have a Panzerfaust 3 that, if it can find a target, smacks it pretty hard as well. So the opener here, the aggressiveness, they have to get something done. KDA's forward deployment, all their recon infantry, not that strong. KDA off-clearers, reservist trade only, no AT weapons on the ones we see here. But it's a lot of them, and they're really cheap, only 20 points, so they might still give Tiberius a decent amount of vision and information about what's coming, so that his big blob of weak but spammable units here can find a way and a position to just like push through the TKS low numbers. And here we go, action has started, Gazelle cannons flying in. And what do you think about the AMX-10 RC on this map?
AMX-10 RC, I think it really has to be here because TKS can't really attack as well without it. But this obviously is not the greatest place for the AMX-10 to work out, though it is quite fast. So, and I think the best way to maybe try to maximize the damage you can take is to position it to watch over enemy reinforcement routes and try to get with the accurate and powerful cannon a couple of trucks, a couple of forward units, and then move it back and start using it as a infantry support fire support unit for the Fallschirmjäger B1s. I actually really like the KDA Aufklärer spam here, mostly because even the worst recon units get exceptional stealth. And the buildings on this map, you have so many of them, and it's going to be really difficult to practically remove all of these KDA Aufklärers, even if you find a couple of one of them. If Tiberius can just shut off their weapons, and then they're going to be spotting for you and giving you the ability to airstrike the enemy, giving you the ability to take preferential engagements, to reinforce and buy troops at the right time and right place. So I do actually like the KDA of Claire spam here. Let's see if it works out. Already the VLRI 20s and Fallschirmjäger B1 and AMX-10 RC have spotted one of the Outclarers, though a bunch of Fagot missiles flying right in and stunning the AMX-10 RC. But here's the thing why fast vehicles can be really good if a player really actually cares to micro them. There's so many buildings here that you really don't need to move for that many seconds until the enemy missile breaks contact.
Yeah, MiG-23 here, killing a Gazelle Cannon. That's sitting around afterwards, just giving some extra protection so that the helicopters have to be pushed back. No long-range AA on either side. First couple of T-34s start dying here. ZSU goes down as well, so a couple of good kills here for Woe, but also losing one AMX already. Second one goes down to the Fagot. The one-shot capabilities against them by the Fagot make the Fagot a really nice option here. And the AMX-10s are really pricey. You need to get a couple of kills out of them before they really pay off. ZSUs and T-34s dying in pretty high numbers, but the Fallschirmjägers actually... no, this one still has a lot of ammo. And together with the Milan 2, I guess they won't run out of ammo before they can kill everything here, as SPWs and T-34s here are dying in big numbers. Gina comes around as well, but there's still a decent amount of red units remaining after the early losses here, as they are just so spammable here.
Yeah, looking at the reinforcements of Woe here consists of the now a little bit nerfed 11-man Jaeger squads, as well as more aircraft. And even though Woe managed to get the Fallschirmjäger B1s to push into two enemy zones of Foxtrot and Hotel, there really isn't enough capability to hold them. At this point, the Fallschirmjäger B1s, who also gain the stealth buff of the recon units, I think their task here is to just keep some kind of guard, use their amazing 6 Panzerfaust 3 ammos to keep on destroying reinforcements when Tiberius doesn't realize it. And now with the air attacks coming up, a bunch of these center KDA units have been destroyed now, and it seems like the Jaegers and the few vehicles around will be able to engage these on Woeisme's terms. The reinforcements of Tiberius consist of T-55 tanks, which are in a really bad position to attack the Fallschirmjäger B1s. They are both slow and don't really have enough armor to defend. I think they might be get single killed by a side shot.
Yeah, at the same time, Jäger Führer in the north dying to some KDA Aufklärers and some planes. So no capture there and no take with that for Woeisme. Whilst the center has been captured by Tiberius for now. No CV on the battlefield around there for Woeisme, but one Jägerführer coming in here into the rear zone together with the Fallschirmjägers in the south, and both sides losing a good amount of units. The attrition rate here is pretty high. AMX-10s have been wiped off the map nearly completely, only 1 out of 4 remaining. Gazelle Cannons have been dying and so on, but on the other side, a lot of infantry dying to the F-104s, a lot of vehicles running into Panzerfausts and similar things. So the casualty rate here for Tiberius also really high, and I feel like Woeisme has a big advantage at this stage.
Yeah, Woe has a fighter up going after the Mi-8. No, actually going up after the MiG-23. And now a fighter flight, 3 starfighter bombers are coming down here. This is why the large amounts of recon might pay out to you. If you can just have good enough idea of what's happening, the MiG-21s and the F-104Gs will be able to kill singular enemy infantry squads, which on this urban territory are really difficult to get rid of. And so far, Woe is actually reinforcing with a bunch of the VLRA 20 millimeters. I think Woe recognizes that using fighters as anti-helicopter is not sustainable here, because the KDA can bring out amazing cool Book air defense systems. And the VLRA 20s might actually work out quite well as anti-infantry units. They can suppress the KDA shoots, and even when the KDA are in buildings, significantly lowering their combat effectiveness.
And both SPWs here dying within a couple of seconds. Both sides bombers doing a decent job. The fighters not quite getting the kill here. The F-104 still sitting around. They should maybe be called home. MiG-23 not able to find the connection though. Finds a hit on the Gina. Might kill the Gina, but might get killed by the F-104 fighter here as well. Yes, goes down, and that is a good trade for the Gina side. Meanwhile, more Gina rockets coming in. KDA Schützen suffering a bit, but T-54s helping out from the long range. Ooh, the Milan ones get the kill though. KDA Schützen keep on pushing forward. Everything that can throw HE at them throws HE at them right now to stun them down, to stop them here from overrunning the center again. Jägers and Milans there trying to hold the line. The CV of Woeisme in the south has loaded back up, and Woeisme is really pushing for some nice point lead here now.
Yeah, the fact that Tiberius's last reinforcements have been so solidly concentrated on the middle kind of speaks of the two divisions' philosophies behind them. The fast-moving Gazelle cannon, recon, and kind of sideline action that is preferred by Woe here is kind of speaks of the fact that Woe cannot bring out as many tanks, cannot bring out as many like large infantry squads, even though TKS is obviously completely capable of doing both these things. But on the long term, I think Woe recognizes that KDA is just so good at bringing out stuff, and KDA doesn't get the good aggro special forces opener that TKS has, and so Woe wants to win under the map control, not with the decisive battle, but with the constant harassment and mobility.
Yeah, and we see Aufklärers here moving forwards. KDA Schützen as well. And all of this pushes in nicely towards Jäger Panzerfaust there. Jäger leader in the rear though for Woeisme is starting to get points. It's just barely outside there. That building not quite counting us in. But the AMX-10 RC is just deep diving here, pushing out reservists out of their transports. Quick reaction here from Tiberius, actually getting the kill there with the reservists and their RPGs. AMX-10, the final one down, but Woe on a +4, pushing a +5, pushing a +6. Iltis Führung's most likely gonna go down there in the north though, yeah. The 57mm gets the kill. Woe has no CV right now to get immediately into the center. Both sides just losing so many units. Like, the amount of units on the battlefield is so crazy low right now. And both sides just keep on hammering away here. The Carl Gustav of the Jägerführer missing twice against T-34s here, as they keep trying to move in there again. Fallschirmjäger B1 trying to come around as well. MiG-21HE finding a nice kill onto the CV unit there, and yeah, +5 situation here for Woe. Can Woe get that through, or did he throw away too much here?
I mean, Woe's current attack on the middle here does seem like it has enough. There are Milan 2s, not 3 Milan 2s. That Woe still seems to have air superiority, even though neither side really has air defense. So I think that might change sooner or later. But with this current force here, I think Woe can hold the middle, and whether or not Tiberius if Tiberius blunts this current attack in the middle and then has to start attacking the sides from a badly traded position, that could be really bad for Tiberius. But if this attack actually goes, if Tiberius can keep on contesting the middle, I think Tiberius might have the just the sheer mechanized advantage and very importantly the air advantage, at least the air defense advantage, which is not being there. There is nothing happening. I think that really might be the crucial thing here. That the first OSA is coming 10 minutes in after WoW has managed to build a massive air fleet, including Gina's firing in the front line. I think that really is the indicator here.
Yeah, Faltermega B1's also getting more T-34s in the rear, so the units that were supposed to be the cheap fire support here going down. And the Gina rockets and co keep on damage here. KDA Schützen getting wiped out. Faltermega B1 does survive, and Tiberius really struggling to get stuff to the front line here now. Like, there's only 2 infantry units left on the map, and both of them are still on the way to the front line. Tiberius will get a capture onto the northern zone most likely soon again, and that will stop the tick. But the casualty rates here on urban front lines are just really, really high. Like, I don't think I have seen such a brutal game in a long while.
Yeah, WoW is actually calling out both the patterns and the proof that Germany's military supremacy has always been overhyped. The Kanonjagdpanzer, the armor, the Kanonjagdpanzer might actually be one of the only situations in which it's good, because it will be going against the T-34s, to which it is superior. But this armored force here is not for attacking, in my opinion. I think this will be basically work as pillboxes to build up enough HE damage that no matter how many KDA Schützen get ordered out, they will not be able to build a critical mass of them. I think that will be the task of the armored force, as well as holding some of these sidelines alongside recon helicopters and such.
Yeah. The F-104 bombers trying to come around 13 minutes in, and the OSAs starting to get a bit higher number, but the lack of infantry here is just massive. The OSAs also only always getting 1 hit here, not quite finding any kills, and that means that yes, the planes are out for a good bit, but they will come around eventually, so you will have to be careful for being ready for that point. And infantry units here, all dead again for Tiberius. Tiberius having to bring in 3 more infantry squads now. But trying to push without infantry on this map is pretty suicidal. So position here right now for the KDA, not amazing. At least it's only a +1 right now.
Yeah, to give people some context, Tiberius Rancor currently does not see a single an enemy unit. Only the Gazelle Cannon. Everything else is invisible to Tiberius. Even a good player trying to micro these vehicles is gonna have a really hard time figuring out which specific units are in which specific buildings. And this is the power of stealth and the power of garrison units in buildings, is the fact that without recon units or somebody making contact, those units are hidden. And it takes a very specific kind of person to keep tabs on that. Personally, I'm not one of those.
Yeah, and we see the SPWs and SP pushing forward in the north, but they find the Faltermega Führer here. Kanonjagdpanzer, though, coming around the corner now. And there's nothing there to really deal with them, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, the Kanonjagdpanzer, best armor around there, and because it's the only armor around, and that stops things. Infantry now coming in, but they then can't really deal with the armor here. And Tiberius tries to get the capture onto the south. At the same time, though, light tank formation plus an Iltis Führungs coming in the north. Center has been captured here by Woeisme, and the +2 runs really smoothly.
Oh no, here the one of the actually better units in this context, the BTR, is getting taken by crossfire from Kanonjagdpanzers and the Milan 2s. all of these not expensive really, but all of these very valuable BTRs just getting taken out there with enough BTRs or enough of any 50 cal units really, it can be possible to break through even large fortified infantry squads, some smoke mortars to block the Milan 2s, and then engaging the units in buildings with like 4 BTR shooting at max range. That's one of the standard ways that you want to do this, and the Kanonjak Panzers being around here, making those BTRs obsolete.
Yes, and we see now a big infantry push from Tiberius in the south, but the Kanoniak Panzers push into the center right now. +1 going on. Woeisme with an angle towards the north. We have a Fagot in a decent spot against the Kanoniak Panzers. It won't one-shot them frontally though. And the Machutsen there pushed back already. The MiG-21's HEs, they do decent amount of damage. They aren't as efficient as the F-104s on the other side, I would say though. And yeah, if Woeisme now moves the Iltis into the north, the take will be really strong. Can even move it deeper there. The M48s have spotted a decent amount of the area for him. And yeah, getting up to a +3, +5 here at this point could really help getting Woeisme over the 2,000 point line.
Yeah, currently there's kind of a crucial lack of supplies. Actually, only now buying a Unimog Woeis, and both the Milan 2s don't have ammunition right now, leading to the SPW-40 recon vehicles getting a beat on some infantry leaders and recon units. The Kanonjak Panzers and the Jaeger squads, also a lot of Jaeger squads actually around, needing to be resupplied. But this lack of supply is compensated by the fact that a bunch of Gazelle cannons and even more infantry are moving in. There's an SPW-40 in a southern position, but with 3 Kanonjak Panzers, you can't kill a lot, but you can kill a single 1 armor recon vehicle. That is what it's good for.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
SPW
they're all
here
taken out.
trying to get some spotting. In the middle, the infantry push of Tiberius is starting to get a bit faster. Reservisten pushing in there, but the VLRA is so important, and there's currently no real tank around here. No T-62s, no T-34s even, and that means that the long range is something that Woeisme doesn't have to worry about too much right now. So things like the Kanonjak Panzer or the VLRA can give good fire support against infantry from a decent range and just kind of shred, as you can see on the kill feed right now. Like, there's so much red there. They are the first blue unit in a while, but more red comes to follow, and I feel like this push here of Tiberius is just not working.
Yeah, this is you can already see that the engagement here is forming into a concave, which is kind of proof that Woe is winning this year. Woe's usage of these 20mm cannons, both on the Gazelle cannons as well as the VLRAs, really seems to be paying off here. Way more, even with this reservist heavy fighting line on both sides, yeah, just way more units and low cohesion on Tiberius' side. Of course, Tiberius as the attacking force has to kind of put themselves in harm's way to find the enemy. But this is the proof that this is proof that Woe's tactic of early aggression worked. Woe managed to secure the positions and managed to keep them well enough that any kind of a future attack could be enveloped, as we saw the last attack happen.
Yes,
with the last attack.
And Woeisme here getting the W in game number 1. The AA network on the side of Tiberius not enough to deal with all the bombers. The Fallschirmjäger B1's got some sometimes pretty crazy kill numbers here. A lot of light vehicles and so on destroyed by them. The T-34s there maybe running a bit too close to comfort, maybe being seen as too spammable. But you still need to do something with them, even if you get that. Like, even if the individual one is not worth much, if you invest that much into them, you have to get something out of them, and the T-34s just kind of didn't do anything in this one. So, yeah, Woeisme here coming out on top in this best of 3 game, and that means Woeisme now on match point. Let's see if Tiberius can defend against it, or if it will be a clean 2-0 for Woeisme. After a short break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with game number 2. So here we return. Game number 2. Woeisme on match point. And we got ourselves on Mount River here with a nice little another matchup. But before we jump in there, let's talk about how you guys can support this whole event. And really thank you guys for getting us through all the claim code buttons. So no free money to add anymore, but that's a good thing because all the free money already been added that way. Or is there? Maybe you can still add some with clicking the subscription button over here. But yeah, in general, if you want to help out the tournament and get us to the $500 stretch goal that we set out at the beginning, you can contribute directly here as well. Big thanks to everybody who did. Tiberius coming in here with the last claim code button, getting him potentially some money. But for that, he has to get through here. And that might not be easy, as Woeisme here with the 5th Panzer, Tiberius Rancor on the 1st UK. Both sides banning the same division as in game number 1, so no changes there. 5th Plane Day, not a division that anybody wants to see anybody on here in this matchup, as both players are really good with it. And 2nd Panzer Grenadier here, a really scary division on that patch as well. But 5th Panzer, not that much weaker, is it?
No, I mean, 1st UK, if you're treating these as armored divisions, the 5th Panzer is obviously better. Its tanks are better, its tanks are faster, the tanks have better penetration, you have a better variety of them. And the infantry here is reasonably similar, but I do think the British do have better infantry. And most importantly, the British have a forward deployment opener. They can send the Tiberius Para, they can send recon SAS units and the Para Rover Milans to take early ground. This is a small map. Taking any small piece of ground can actually give you a lot of tactical options if you're willing to support them with the rest of your subpar mechanized force. Now, what the British do have over the Germans is that they have way more helicopters. The Lynxes are fast, they have a lot of really good missiles, the Gazelles are cheap and controlled well enough. The small amount of rockets, the 12 rockets per Gazelle, can be used to very efficiently remove units such as recon first spares that are going to be the core of the spotting capacity for this mechanized assault, and even weaken larger squads such as the Jaeger Aufklärers and Jaegers, so that British infantry can take care of them otherwise. And this helicopter-centered opener that we are apparently seeing from Tiberius can start trading up well enough in the opener that the quality of the tanks won't necessarily matter as much. In the late game, you can use smokes on this pretty claustrophobic map to cross the ground against the opponent that has better tanks. And though, on the other hand, the German tanks are better at crossing ground than British tanks.
Yeah, and we have a single tornado here coming in from the get-go, trying to protect those helicopters brought early in. And the Tornado is the better fighter compared to the F4Fs that can come on the other side. F4F with the shotgun missiles, not that bad, but they have been nerfed a lot. It's not the menace that we had when they were 4 availability and basically free. They cost a decent amount now. They also are down to 2 availability, so you can't outnumber the Tornadoes anymore. And Woeisme will have to face put more effort onto the ground here, I think, and that's what we see here with a lot of armored units coming around, whilst Tiberius playing with only a single tank here as a tank division in the opener.
Yeah, the single helicopter just got taken out by the tornado, revealing also that there is only a single Gepard here doing air support, which and F4F follows up very wise. You don't want a random seed plane to destroy literally all of your air defense against the British. And this really most likely, I think, once to just have a decisive mech battle. The strategy of the mech blob is that you want to engage with the maximum amount of your units against this kind of a wider front of the enemies. That is why WoW is saving and not really investing up north as much. If this breakthrough happens here with these elite tanks and this expensive Leopard 2s and a Gepard doing anti-helicopter defense, if this actually breaks through here, WoW will be free to reinforce a large area with ATGMs, with air defense, with infantry. But first, WoW needs to break through both of these Tiberius para, as well as the Power Rover Milans that might actually move down south very fast, those Milan cars, and start doing damage.
Carrier Paras there with Carl Gustav. No, with Laws, actually. But one hit side shot here against the Leo 1A1. But not much damage else outside of there. Jaguar Edo. Oh! Oh my goodness, the first Jaguar did fail there. Got shot down by the F4F. The second one, though, with a triple kill money shot. A Leo going down, the Gepard going down, a Marder going down. Really, really important bombing run here. Woeisme still might take the center here, but it is not with a dominating force anymore. This is now a relatively small, relatively weakened force that can be defeated later on. And the snipers try to keep an eye on everything there. That Jaguar run, so key. Risky,
Yeah,
but really important.
yeah, there's the risk of, I mean, that is the risk of blobbing too much. Cluster bombers are often the traditional way to take out mech blobs, but the Jaguars are so powerful because as dive bombers, their heavy payload lands really close to each other, so the damage can destroy even the heaviest tanks, as we saw with the Leopard 2. Now, WoW wants to follow this up and keep the aggro going. The F4F rocket plane is a very good unit to cheaply remove enemy snipers, as was spotted just recently. And these large infantry squads of Jaegers, as well as Luke's recon vehicle, moving up to try to build up some power up north.
And yeah, WoW just focusing on the center so far. Hasn't even captured the back point yet. And that might backfire here, as a Rover Milan there might snipe the Jägerführer. Yes, it does! A Rover Milan there just rushing through the north. Other infantry units immediately unloaded, but the Rover there already paying off. We see some more Martyrs and Panzergrenadiers dying to the really deep pushing Terrier Paras there as well. Leo 1A1 now going down in the south to a Milan 2, and yeah, Woeisme has the center zone, but the rest of the map is not going so hot.
Yeah, the Gepard has run out of ammo, so the Gepard can't even do any support against these tornadoes flying around here. The tornadoes have so many missiles. They have 8 missiles, 4 long range and 4 close range, and they are some of the better. It's some of the better equipped, even though absolutely not fastest air supremacy fighters in the game here. And
Still, the F4 AT there getting out alive. They have 30 ECM, but still a really unfortunate time there for the tornadoes. Everything just whiffing. But the Leo ones in the center going down at the same time. 2 Lynx Hellarm and the Chieftain Mark 11 pushing down south. And that means that even in the position where Woeisme got some earlier victories, he is now in a really tough spot. The Gepard out of ammo, and helicopters and a tank pushing in, with him not really having any anti-tank anymore there either. This is a really tough position for WoW.
yeah, WoW just trying to counter all of his opponent's plays now with a fighter aircraft, trying to hunt down the Hellarms. The Gazelles are running without weaponry to do hard spotting for the Chieftain tank and the Lynx Hellarms. And the F4F also managing to do serious damage against the Jaguar HE2, which might be pretty crucial to stop Tiberius from snowballing even further. But currently, the WoW just doesn't have the key units. WoW doesn't have a mobile armored force that can engage the enemy. WoW needs to start building one at the same time as he needs to fight for the middle. There's just not enough points here. WoW has managed to gain some amount of air supremacy here. The tornadoes are still waiting, and they might come back any second. But the F4 rockets will be the main damage dealer, and just doesn't seem to be enough.
Yeah, it's a really brutal game here once more. Just like in game number 1, the attrition rate for both sides here is higher than the replacement rate. And that leaves both sides with really little to play with, and not incomplete combined arms means both sides have big gaps that can be exploited, like the lack of AA right now on the side of Tiberius. It has to wait for the fighters to come around, and then until then, the F4F, AT, and AA here can just run around and try to get some kills. Chieftain Mark 11 going down to the F4F AT. One more Maverick around that might even be able to find another kill. The Hellarm helicopter goes down as well. And Woeisme here with some really nice victories. Gets the bet for the north as well. Tornado has reloaded now though. And the F4F, AT, and AA have to get out of there. Barely making it out. Leo 185 leader for the center, and yeah, it's crazy how few units both sides have on the ground.
Yeah, this with this Führungs, the West German infantry force is going to move up north. There is nothing there except for the sniper to do any damage to the infantry, so they will be able to get it. But losing the fight on the middle, as long as the tornadoes are in the sky, the tornadoes will be able to fight off the F4Fs, which have very light loadouts compared to the British fighters, and this the AT planes here can eliminate singular enemy, and the rocket planes, they can eliminate singular enemy infantry, but Tiberius has a fighting force. Tiberius has a mobile force that can be maneuvered around.
Does he though? When the F4Fs kill off the chieftains, he lost one of his fighters as well already, so the F4Fs have it a bit easier here. The tornadoes need to be replaced, and yes, there are some warriors, but as long as the F4Fs can fire these away, the situation still might be really solid here for Woeisme. Yes, he doesn't have much in the middle, but if he can get rid of the warriors, neither does Tiberius. And we have the big push coming in the north. Tornadoes here, 2 of them around. So a third one has been bought with them. But the situation here still really tight on both sides, as the units still keep on dying. Rover Milan goes down to a Leo 185. Big push for Woeisme in the north. Still hasn't captured the rear zone in the south, and the center zone has been captured by Tiberius, but the situation here, I would say kill-wise lately, fantastic for Woe.
Oh no, the Leopard is getting into low range, getting missed by the armored rifles, and smoking itself out as getting stunned. Excellently saved here for a second, but will the armored rifles be able to take another shot? And the leader is down.
Yeah, and the Führungs in the north dying at the same time to a warrior oblique. Lux trying to get kills onto some warriors, but the autocannon of the Germans, the 20mm, not on par with the Rarden in this game. The Rarden 30mm with a surprisingly high fire rate in this game. Tornado here with the long range firepower. Ooh, flying a bit too close here though, but gets some good missiles into this F4F as well, and gets the kill there. The other one damaged. Tornado doing its job here, and yeah, really profiting from its 8 missiles there, just being able to fire a decent amount of missiles on both planes, and keeping the sky now clean. So Tiberius with the solid swing here again. The double kill under the CVs, pretty big, and the warriors, they are keep coming.
Yeah, this air-based attack from Woeisme, I think, kind of signals the desperate need to keep up aggression. There is no time to wait or save for a group of martyrs or a Leopard 2 or anything like that. There is a constant struggle happening all around the map, and a Tornado HE, a single run of a Tornado HE might completely change this struggle. And now the concentration on these air assets, it means that Woe has to cut out from the fundamentals. This tactic would be excellent if the original mech blob would have survived the original engagement and would still be around if there was a core group of some vehicles that could engage. This would be an amazing support for that. But right now there's only the remains of a fighting force, and still under +2, which I just think that unless this air tab of Woe manages to trade up well, which is really difficult against the British, this I think Tiberius might take this.
Yeah, Tiberius killing off an F4F now, both BO-105s down as well, and yeah, the ground units are just nearly non-existent here. Woe also a bit paranoid about Oscar by now because he didn't have any recon units around there earlier, and finally bringing around some roll-ons, which he just couldn't afford earlier, but maybe too late now because the Tornadoes already killed a decent amount of the units that the roll-ons now got brought in to protect, and now the roll-ons are kind of dead weight because there are a lot of points. They don't really capture much, but the middle is completely empty, so it's still a pretty wild game here. But Tiberius with the tick, and Tiberius with a solid push now coming north in again. So yeah, the casualty rates here on the ground, insane for both sides. Woe finally capturing the south, giving the slight reduction to the tick. And we have some Milan 2s here in a decent spot. So the warriors have to be careful there. But the northern infantry push here is something that Woe currently can't really handle. Whilst Woe slowly pushing through the center here.
Yeah, the once again the fact that Woe is pushing here with singular recon units just shows how much of the attacking force of Woe is aircraft. The need to spot the enemy is one of the two pieces of the kind of air attack strategy, and the other one is holding air superiority, which currently Woe does not hold, even though taking out the Jaguar is a really big hit here. The Jaguar could have destroyed basically 1/4 of Woe's units on the board with a single strike.
Yeah, we saw some of the warriors going down in the north though as well. So yeah, Woe getting a couple of decent kills here. Gets Leo 185 leaders out, Jäger Führungs as well. 2 investment into leader units right now. 2 leader units at the same time. I mean, the tick is serious right now, so Woe has to respect that. But I'm not sure if you can really afford 2 leaders, so he might have to. As yeah, the +4 right now, 3-minute 55 timer. F4F rocket trying to come in here, trying to make a bit of a difference there up north. Not hitting well though with the Zunis there. And the armored rifles still in a decent spot, whilst Jäger Aufklärers through the middle, pushed through there. Should make a room for some more, some of the CVs and some more reinforcements for Woe. But the F4F AT gets the chieftain leader in the north. Okay. Question is, can Woe stabilize the situations before the tick wins the game here for Tiberius?
I don't know, but the Tornadoes are coming out hunting again, and there's no fighter planes out. No, the 2 fighter planes are actually out. One of them doesn't have any missiles left, and managing to almost and destroys one of the Tornadoes. That's actually quite a bit of a hit. The fighting over the Roland 3s is a massive player here. The Rolands do fast and reliable, very accurate damage on long range, and this might actually have resolved the air supremacy. Another Tornado gets bought to contest more, and though nothing to do against the Rolands. Seed planes could maybe do some damage here, but of course investing into a seed plane when you have so little on board is a big...
Tornado AA goes down as well. The important part is though, the CV in the middle needs to get through here for Woe, as otherwise this game might be over really soon. There is a warrior applique and an armored rifles on the other side. His Jäger Aufklärers got killed by a Tornado HE. So he has really little knowledge about what is going on there. Gets the CV in there. Leo 185 leader in the south, pushing for the wire as well. The Milan 2 there gets pushed, but there is 2 warrior appliques with armored rifles already coming in, and the Leo 185 most likely can't just dodge those. So I don't believe Woe will get that through. 4 minutes 13. Push in the north happening, but armored rifles and rifles there in a decent spot, and the smoke is dissipating too quickly there. The Iltis Führungs will get killed. It will reduce it to a +1, but the CV in the center goes down as well, and that will increase it to a +3 again here, and oh, Woe is in big trouble now.
Yeah, down south, there was for the longest time, there was no defense outside of a Milan that had run out of ammunition. Now, Woe didn't have any recon units out there, though the only unit to push was the Leopard 185 leader. And as the Leopard 185 leader started to realize that there was no defense out, the reinforcements in form of warrior appliques and armored rifles finally got there at the same time. Tragic lost situation. If WoW had just called the bluff and or taking the quite a big risk of driving through to Lima, this situation could be different. But so far, Tiberius being careful and calling reinforcements early paid out really well.
Yeah, and now it's a 2-minute timer here. The center in control of Tiberius still. Woe trying to get a Jägerführer up north, but Unimog here as the scout. Tornado cluster around as well. Couple of Jäger with Panzerfaust coming in. Führungs coming in, which most likely gonna try to go to the center. No, it's going north right now as well. Cluster not getting hit by the Rolands. The Rolands failing to get the kill there. And the cluster plane coming around for the Jägerführungs. They won't kill it, but they might stun it down enough that it won't be able to move in there. Like, it's only 1 minute 14. It doesn't need to get a kill here. It just needs to slow it down. And it does that right now quite nicely. And armored rifles and rifles still falling back. 1 minute and 4 seconds. And yeah, I think there is not enough time in this one. Woeisme just getting killed by the kick and tick here.
Yeah, whoa, it really is. Both of these players have played this very well, but the early strike by the Jaguar against the bunched up Woeisme Panzer attack that was just managing the breakthrough. I think that really was the point. I mean, after that, every single engagement has been both of these players kind of struggling to gain relevance on the board, and the main way to do that has been the air combat, and which is why I think it's so interesting that we saw anti-air units come out so late. Of course, the Tornadoes are better at killing aircraft than any of the British SAM systems, but Tiberius just really knowing what their opponent wants to do and just relying on air micro, which I think is quite ballsy, because the Tornadoes, if they get a single hit, they're gonna go home and repair, and that can give your opponent a lot of time.
Woeisme prolonging the game here, maybe. Iltis Führungs making it in the center. That is potentially the turnaround here, but he has nothing to protect Oscar, so there is still some angles here, and it's only a couple of seconds remaining that Tiberius has to take. So Woe now can't lose any more points. Has wrestled air dominance thanks to the Roland 3s that Tiberius sacrificed a couple too many units to, but the Leo 2A4s and the Martyrs still keep pushing on here. Yeah, it's just the issue for Woe that any small little tick here right now would break his back. And
no! Side shot against the leopard.
This is devastating. Oh, that Leo Code 2 could have done so much at this stage. It gets the chieftain. Another chieftain coming up. But that's the chieftain leader. If that can somehow, some way weasel its way into the center zone, it's GG here. So, oh boy.
The warrior Appli can position itself into the forest here.
Oh no, the Iltis Führungs. Woeisme maybe a bit too risk taking now here. F4FAT takes a Spartan out, but both of his CVs here now up north, one just getting wasted. The Jägerführungs most likely gonna go down as well. F4FAT trying to come around, but does he even have CVs left in his deck? He might not have CVs left after this. He lost so many of them, as this game just was a constant back and forth of capture point and kills. So both sides losing a lot of CVs already, and Woe's deck might just be bled dry. Like the Jägerführungs, he needs to keep that alive. And the Iltis Führungs, they're just running in like that without anything in front of it. A bit too much at once there. Whilst at the same time we have a Sultan coming in now in the south. Yeah, Woe pushing forward again. Warrior Appli here though. Ooh, gets killed off by the Milan 2. Important kill. The chieftain getting kills on most of the martyrs in the center. One of them still around, but without any Milans to fire. And the Panzer Grenadiers here just starting to move around. But the Sultan, there is still a Sultan in the north as well. And yeah, Woe just over pushing there a bit. Gets pushed back now again. Tiberius I think Tiberius has it now, as he has a CV coming in the south. He has the Chieftain in the center that still might be able to sneak it in there. The Jaguar alone, I'm not sure that can do it enough, and he will get the point in the north. Like, after getting the 20, this last second stop there, I feel like Woe should have consolidated a bit more. He had the better air, and he had more forces on the board as well, but he didn't have the recon. So, pushing in there without the vision may be a bit overeager.
Yeah, this one chieftain Mark 11 leader has managed to take out all of those martyrs, managed to take out the leopard. Now the Jaguar 2 is moving into its sights, and it might be able to take out the leader
Oh,
as well.
The Jaguar, can it get the kill? It can get the
Oh,
kill.
it does take it. Does
Okay,
take
this
it,
is
does
important,
capture.
but it might not matter as a Sultan is coming through the south right now. And the
Yeah.
Jägerführungs then would need to get into the middle before that Sultan arrives, and I don't see that happening. Whilst may also taking back the center, or something needs to kill the Sultan, and now with the armored rifles and the warriors there, chances for that are relatively slim. Haleo is missing its first shot here onto the warriors. Coming around again for another one. Gets the first of them. Moves back behind the smoke. Good micro there. Will move forward in a second. Try to get the second one. But the Sultan coming through the south, I think, is what will seal the deal here. And this might just be the punishment for Woe not capturing his rear zones early enough. Like, he would have a good couple more minutes if he would have captured the north a bit earlier, the +2 point in the rear, and also captured the southern zone a bit earlier. Like, a bit weird movement there in the rear zones, and that does cost him now. He gets the northern point back. That's currently a +1, but it won't be when the center falls to the Sultan. And that is the big
Tornado
issue here.
cluster managing to almost destroy a leopard 2A4. But regarding what you said, I mean, this is the punishment for going in for an all-in. You go in for an all-in, and then you get punished, and suddenly you don't have the fundamentals. You don't even
Yeah,
have
and
your
here we
back
go.
points captured.
Sultan gets the capture point, and with that, we'll get a +2 here. And Woe is now moving his Jägerführer in the north, but it won't matter. It won't be enough points, even if he captures. Or no, actually, he might stop it, but it's only it's 5 seconds. He won't get there in time. He won't get the full capture in time. He will reduce it to a +1, but that's not enough. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, no. There we go. GG. Close game in the end here, but yeah, Woe getting punished for not capturing the rear zones. Has the massive KD lead here in the end. Like, this is a really big KD lead. That's more than the full 4 deployment extra for Woeisme here. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
the
matter.
18 planes
It's
did so
2,000
much.
points for Tiberius Rancor.
Yeah, the AT planes as well as killing the tornadoes was so much, so many points here. But Tiberius just kept on playing it well. Tiberius kept on. Tiberius's mistakes included mostly, I think, overinvestment into the tornadoes, and not being more conservative using them after the Rolands were bought out. But though, of course, in the heat of air micro, it can be pretty difficult to realize what specifically is shooting at what specifically. So, but the fighting over the Rolands, even if it was just kind of desperation and knowingly sending them out there, they did open up the possibility of a Woe victory, which I think, despite everything, was really close. If the Leopard tanks had allowed had the support with the fighters keeping up the enemy Jaguars, of course, and the cluster planes, the Panzergrenadier infantry moving out and making contact with the enemy, even the small useless squads, the 5-man squads, and if there had been enough recon on the ground to spot for the tanks, even a single tank could have just done so much damage there. And but yeah, Tiberius not letting go barely at all, always constantly taking good engagements and being on time to reinforce open areas.
Yeah, and that leads us to a decider game here between Tiberius Rancor and Woeisme. And yeah, comes down to game number 3. So that is pretty exciting, as we had 2 really bloody games here already. So let's see if these guys will take a bit of a slower approach, or if they will just rush into each other's faces once more in game number 3. Short break, guys, then we're gonna be back with this deciding match here between these two.
All because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies. Only you can make me feel make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies. All because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies. Only you can make me feel
Okay, here we return, everybody. The final game of the day. And no, not the final game of the day. The final game of the series. Hopefully not the final game of the day, as we're gonna have the live semifinals after that, if Pro Komi is showing up. And yeah, we have Tiberius Rancor versus Woeisme here. Tiberius on the right side with a lot of helicopters coming in here with the 8PS. Blackhawks, and Tokobras coming in immediately, whilst Woe is playing this somewhat slower division on this map with 27th. And this is going to be interesting. Bands, once more, pretty similar. 5th and 2nd Panzer Grenadier and 82nd Band, which made sense on the last patch. And then 3rd US Band as well, really strong with Apaches and so on as well. So, makes sense. And 11th E, not a scary division on this map. So that's the only switch there. 3rd US Band instead of 11th. But outside of that, similar bands to the usual ones in the series.
Yeah, so regarding the divisions here, the 8th US going in for a helicopter opener here, I think is a purposeful way of exploiting 8th's versatility compared to the relatively more stiff 27th Motostrelkovaya or whatever it's called. The 27th is known to have really good medium and short range anti-air, but no long range anti-air at all. And its air component is pretty mediocre. It does get some helicopters, but not in large amounts. And its early infantry deployment outside of the Spetsnazvedkas, which are mostly best used as spotters for your mechanized forces, and the Razvedka BMP-2s, which are quite expensive, but still recon BMPs. Outside of those, 27th really struggles to get early infantry on board, and investing into these Rangers, Dragons, and Tow Cobras will give Tiberius the ability to capture early ground. And on this map, as we, as WARNO League viewers know, the northern side is generally captured. The Charlie and Delta side is most generally just given for free for the player with the better early infantry opener. And the southern side, the longer side with more points, is where most stalemates happen. And if Tiberius manages to, with the helicopter power, gain Delta and Charlie, he'll only have to defend the natural middle line of the southern position. And even though the infantry fighting vehicle, BMP-3 and BMP-2, are only available for the Soviets here, there are no Bradleys outside of the recon ones, the 8th does not lack in heavy weaponry. It gets the heavier M1A1 Abrams, and it gets a absolute buttload of missiles.
Yeah. It does, absolutely. And yeah, M1 Abrams here, CVs coming up, Tow Cobras, Blackhawks, all ready to go. The question is, will we get more out of Tiberius here? No, we won't. I think there's room for a plane or two in this opener still. Even with all the Tow Cobras and so on here. 3 Bradleys, pretty expensive as well, but pretty deadly too. On the other side, we have 2 Tunguskas. We have a couple of BMP-3, 1 BMP-3, and then a couple of BTRs coming around. I believe there is room for a plane on the side of Woeisme as well. Question is, when will we see them? As the helicopters are flying forward now. And yeah, if the Rangers can get all the spots they want, they can really wreak some havoc here.
Yeah, now we're seeing the Blackhawks are some of the fastest, not the some of the fastest helicopters, so they'll be able to reliably drop down. The Blackhawk also has a buffed veterancy alongside the Rangers, which gives it makes it just a little bit more reliable and not routing out and not panicking and managing to get the troops down on the ground. The Dragons only have 1,200 meter range, but when in good enough positions, such as these forests and these buildings, the inherent building stealth and the fact that inside forests you can move out and peek at the enemy, this immediately this threat makes WoW recognize that this has to be a proper attack.
Tunguska in the north under fire by the F-111. AA pieces getting targeted there. MiG-29 getting a long-range missile hit. Can it follow that up with a second one? No, it can't. And that means that the F-111 will get out alive. Second Tow Cobra dies in the south. 1 kill in the north at least beforehand. But the BMP-2K going down as well. No air AA protection here right now in the north. The MiG-29 could hunt down the Tow Cobra potentially here. Not doing so just yet, though.
The other Tunguska gets killed by the Bradley down south. The recon Bradleys, the forward deployment recon Bradleys, armed with 12 TOW-2 missiles, as well as with very good optics and buffed stealth, mediocre stealth. Even though very, very expensive, 120 points, has been able to destroy
With the MiG-29 winning the fight there against the F-16. BTR is dying across the board though. TOW Cobra in the middle, now being gunned down by the SU. The F-16 barely getting out alive. The Bradleys dealing with the BTRs in the south. M1 pushing forward against the BMP-2 as well. The BMP-2 leader here most likely going down as well, as it is heavily stunned down. The infantry all there in a pretty open spot as well, and it is once more is an absolute slaughter between these two. Like, both sides lost a lot of units already again. As we saw all the Cobras dying, we saw 2 of the Bradleys dying already as well. Meanwhile, a lot of the infantry and the BTRs, 1 CV, both Tunguskas, like, this is a bloodbath once more.
Yeah, the WoW managing to, despite heavy losses, managing to contest the northern town with the BTR providing fire support importantly. But down south, Tiberius has managed to push on Alpha, and Alpha is some of the more difficult positions to hold here. SU-17 losing both of its shots, the small air advantage here that Woeisme is holding, despite losing both of the very expensive Tunguskas, is not really paying off. And Tiberius is likely to have the air advantage on long term, so the fact that SU-17 didn't manage to slow this attack at all is a big hit, because in the future it's going to be even less relevant.
Yeah, BMP-2 case here having to disengage. Another BMP-2 with Modradredka coming in. The Bradley's pushing forward. Really little here to stop the M1 and the Bradley. And that is a massive issue here. Bradley getting another ATGM towards the BMP-2. Can the BMP-2 break line of sight in time? No, it can't. And that means the south here is completely open right now. You were talking about how Tiberius might win by grabbing the north. Instead, Tiberius is now going for the full-on capture of the south. SU-17 there, lost alone without any MiG-29 coverage here. A bit of a desperation move, the investment into it at this moment. MiG-29 now out and ready. Knowing that the enemy has those F-16s, the SU-17 should not have come out alone. At least the TOW Cobra gets killed in the center, and the north is still in a decent position for Woeisme, but he needs to get something going in the south soon. Otherwise, if you give up that point and the enemy can get the whole forest behind it and so on, pushing through the open back into India here is not going to be an easy objective.
Yeah, the recon Bradley's managing to basically kind of ambush the attacking Tiberius force down
double
south.
F-16 here, the last day of the MiG-29s most likely. Yes, immediately gets hit by the Sparrow. The Su-17 in the south, it can't really compete here either. Gets 1 missile hit on one of the F-16s, but now gets gun run down, and 2 more really important planes going down. The Mi-24V here coming out at the wrong moment in time as well, most likely, and this is a really tough spot now for Woe.
Yeah, Woe does have a leader going up north, but
the BMP-2 capturing the mech rifle leader here, actually. Woe, with some behind-the-line action, might find a mech rifle dragon here in transport as well. The BMP-2 action there, pretty interesting. The Mi-24V here in a weird spot. But yeah, the BMP-2 here, okay, mech rifle dragons actually making it around there before getting killed in transport. Good reaction from Tiberius. Important to keep that alive. The BMP-2, can it get out of the range of the dragon before getting hit again? It might just be getting out of there. Nope, it gets killed. BMP-2 going down. Mi-24
18 penetration
against Bradley. But the Mi-24 has to be careful there. Gets the stun in time. M1 Abrams now the only CV on the map right now for Tiberius. Has to run back to capture Alpha and Bravo. Meanwhile, Motto, Strelky, Comrade coming in on the north for Woe. But the loss of the airplanes here is what really hurts Woeisme here in the long term. Can't protect the Mi-24s now, and can't attack the units on the ground anymore. The Su-17s and MiG-29s coming in a bit too piecemeal later on, even though he knew that F-16s were around, and that is a massive issue here. BMP-3 running into the Dragon here. His position is still not hot for Woe. It's still pretty flimsy for Tiberius as well. If Tiberius loses 1 or 2 expensive units here, this could still absolutely swing. But Woe needs to find a way to do that, and it's not currently present on the map.
I mean, I just look at the amount of units on board here right now. I mean, this is not really Woe's situation. This Ranger Dragons managing to Ranger Dragons with 18 pen and the Special Forces trade, as well as with the veterancy, just the autocannons didn't do anything. They didn't lose cohesion. The accuracy kept at maximum, and the Dragon single shots BMP2s and does not single shot BMP3s, but do leave them at very low damage and cohesion. Just the Ranger drop in the opener, it just worked. It worked very well, and Tiberius has managed to play out against the strengths of 27th. 27th units are expensive. It can realistically bring out like 6 to 8 aircraft, 4 of which are fighters, 2 of which are MiG-29s, which are all right, and the rest are MiG-23s, which are mediocre. And it's not second Panzergrenadier. If you want to win, you have to buy units that cost 135 points with the BMP3 plus Motostrelki. Your recon infantry is, even though you get the standard Razvedkas, is often also comes in expensive Razvedka BMP2s. This is not a division that can easily come back. And Woe wanted the aircraft to give him the space and give him the engagements to come back, but the F-16s just didn't let that happen.
Yeah, Su-17 here, flying around, trying to kill some helicopters. Blackhawks with dragons coming around. But yeah, the Su-17's playing a dangerous game here as well. Mech Rifle Leader finding the Motostrelki Comrade here most likely as well. Mech Rifle Dragons. The Motostrelki Comrade with the BTR has to move around. Tries to go for the rear zone snipe here. Like Woe realizing that Tiberius is pretty thin as well. But this is a really hectic game for both sides still. And the Dragons, yes, even with reduced range, they still really hold Tiberius in the game here right now. Like they block all those BMP actions from doing anything, and we now see a MiG-23 here coming in, trying to help out the Su-17s, trying to kill off some helicopters. What is it going for right now? Nothing really. Whilst Woe might lose his Motostrelki Comrade here in the rear. Ito out for the kill there. And yeah, Woe now with the push in the front line as well. Su-17AT though, not finding the M60, not finding the M1, and we have 2 F-16AAs in the sky again. Not getting a kill though. Ooh. Mi-24 finds a hit on one of the F-16s. The Mi-24 rocket in the south is in a bad position now though. No Tunguskas have come around again. MiG-23 here desperately trying to defend it. 1 versus 2 now against the 2 F-16s though, which are pretty much out of missiles most likely. But still have a bit of gun ammo left here. Desperately trying to protect the Mi-24. That is so key to deal with the Rangers. Deal with the M60s. M60 goes down. Can Woeisme find a way in here again? Loses the Mi-24 now to the gun run of the F-16. And yeah, it's a really brutal fight still. Both sides still losing a lot. But I believe Tiberius is in a good bit better spot now. Killing BMP3 and BTR-80 in the south. And yeah, what can Woe do realistically at this point?
I mean, Woe would either have to magically conjure up the 2 planes, the MiG-23s that he probably doesn't actually have, and then get some perfect engagements against the enemy using the helicopters and the MiG-23s that he doesn't have, and basically use those units to have all the few BMP2s on board to try to push to Bravo. And but this is the only units to kill the pivots in this situation would be the BMP2s, and this would require WoW had a bunch more aircraft and helicopters than he probably does.
Yeah, now we see the Su-17 M4 rocket coming in for the Mech Rifle Dragon. Ooh, good kills there. The question is, yeah, what can he do about the self? What can he do about the self? TADBV maybe at some point here could be interesting, but the issue is then an aircraft could deal with that. So he kind of realistically has to go with BMPs, but then the M1 is always superior, and the Ranger Dragons can kill them off quite efficiently as well. So yeah, Woe still struggling, desperately trying to get in there. Both sides still bleeding units left, right, and center, but it seems like Tiberius is also starting to get to a position where 2,000 points are pretty close to reach, and that is the big issue here for Woe for sure.
Yeah, WoW is already gonna go up to +6 as soon as this leader gets onto Charlie, and even if WoW can repel the attacks towards the industrial area of Delta, the WoW is quite unlikely to be able to capture the bottom point here. The Ranger Dragons are just good enough to deter the BMP2s, and they can. The defender here can choose the engagement. The defender can choose to jump back and wait for the enemy to push up, and all of this is just seconds out of WoW's life. Another MiG, maybe this is a repaired MiG finally coming out against the LGB plane. The LGB plane here is would be a perfect T-80 killer, but no T-80s have been bought. So even though if WoW actually wins this game, this air kill was the reason. Oh, now there actually is a T-80 on the board right now, but it's unlikely it's gonna get to the fight before the game's over, I think.
Well, the Motostralkis need to get into the south now with this push, yeah, and the BMP2 already under fire here by the M1 Abrams. Do we have a plane around? Ooh, M1 gets stunned down. Conquerors gets killed by the Ranger Dragons, though. Are the Conquerors M with the heavier penetration? That could have killed the M1 quite quickly. We have a Su-17 with rockets against the Rangers, but we have 2 Mech Rifle Laws already coming in. Just when we are about to get in here, BMP2 gets kill on 1. The Su-17 rocket goes down, though, before it can affect more in the combat here. The Motostralki now has to run in there. But it should have start moving 20 seconds ago. It will just barely get in there. And then it's still a +2 with the points in the north. And that's once more just the point where Woeisme runs out of time. Where the 2,000 points get reached. And Woe might have an okay KD here in the end. But he will just lose to the 2,000 points without getting a tick on the board here. With Tiberius just going the grind game. And just after both sides have exhausted all their resources, having a CV left to capture the points.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so the MiG-23s are coming out finally there, but of course, always too late, as it happens with low-quality aircraft. But yeah, I mean, Tiberius is absolutely playing hardball. I wouldn't be surprised if Tiberius had watched a bunch of WoW's games and deduced what kind of opener he would have.
There's no transport. If there would be a transport right now on the south, Woe might be able to get back into Alpha in time, but he doesn't have a transport for his Motostralki leader. If there would be any kind of transport for the Motostralki leader here right now, the Motostralki leader could get into Alpha, but he doesn't have that right now. And
well, I mean, Tiberius is moving up north, and there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah, I guess so, but there would be nothing to stop Bravo capture either in the south. Like, the issue is just that there's no transport. And that means that his Motostralki won't make it there in time to stop the take. So, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, the transport right now, a kingdom for a horse right now. A kingdom for anything to get these guys over there. But in the end, this is the third absolute massacre game that we had. With both sides taking heavy casualties. But for the second time, it is Tiberius coming out on top in one of these. And yeah, KD really even, but Tiberius with 2,001 points to 0 here in the last second. And yeah, GGVP, Tiberius making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, GG. I mean, personally, I didn't expect Woe to get dropped out, but I think Woe was one of my personal favorites to win the whole thing. But Tiberius is one of the most formidable players. So if it had to be somebody, Tiberius obviously knew what he was doing, and I think the fact that these games ended up being so equal and even having a negative kill death ratio just proves on how much these opener advantages paid off for Tiberius. How much doing this very precise and very kind of minute detail work on designing your attacks paid off incredibly.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiberius there getting rewarded for just real aggression in the 2 second games and going for those capture points, and Woe getting a bit punished for not getting the CVs around in the best spots. And yet in this last game here, that aggression with the helicopters, really good. Though Woe did grind back there, and then I feel like kind of dropped the ball in the airplay a bit. Like he had the early lead and the early momentum of getting the first couple of planes together earlier, getting a couple of good engagements there, but then lost a couple of Su-17s that he brought in just before his MiG-29s were ready again. And if he would have kept those around, then the fight in itself would have been a lot easier. But obviously easier said than done. You want to get something killed immediately, you buy something to kill it, and then you lose the plane, and then everything was for nothing. And yeah, in the end, it was still a really close game. Woeisme for sure going down fighting here, but Tiberius moving on to the semifinals will meet forward there, so that's gonna be a really good series as well. And then the other series here, we're gonna have on in a couple of minutes. Like, that is going to go live today. Pro Commie versus Fortitude Fans, starting in 30 minutes time. Will be really amazing as well, and we're gonna cover that live. So yeah, don't you guys run away too far. We're gonna go into a break here, and then we're gonna cover all of this when it comes around. We're gonna go into talking about it a bit and the best of 5 and so on around it in 20 minutes time. Until then, guys, get your lunch in and let everybody else know to turn on the games, and then we see each other in 20 minutes time.
Yeah, speaking of that, like the stream on YouTube. There's 62 of you watching. This is including me, but I have liked the stream, so there's 6 likes. You want to do your part, you want to promote this. It's a live game, it's semifinals, it's very important, it's good. Fortitude Fans, the hated aggro player versus Pro Commie, the incredible fundamentals efficiency player. Come on, go like the goddamn stream.
Yeah, and go over and subscribe to the Chloride channels as well, guys, if you want to have some more WARNO in your life as well. As there, you get some nice, lovely WARNO plus political commentary and discussions as well. And yep, we'll see each other in 15-20 minutes, guys. Short break, and then middle long break, and then we will be back with live semi-final action. I'm gonna restart the stream real quick, guys, so that we have it with the correct reason for the semifinals.